Okay, I'm gonna start first with the water. That's 1 cup of hot water. Not scalding hot, but hot to the touch. And 1/3 cup of sourdough starch. Mix those together. And then I'm going to add my yeast and my sugar and salt. And I'm gonna let that yeast proof or puff up. While I wait for that to proof, I'm going to go ahead and feed the sourdough starch and then put it back on the counter to sit. Once your yeast is all nice and fluffy, you're ready to mix in the rest of your ingredients. This is what I mean by fluffy. It's just nice and bubbly. So now I just need to add my olive oil and flour. So 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 cups of flour. I don't like this dough to be as sticky as the dough I make my sourdough loaf out of, just because I need to handle it more. And so I like a little bit more flour so that it's easier to handle. But you don't want to over flour it either. Just enough flour so that it comes together. Now I'm gonna lightly flour my countertop and dump this dough out. You just wanna work it enough so that it's an easy to manage consistency, but again, don't over flour it or it will be really heavy. Now I'm gonna split it in 2. And I'm going to cover these and let each one rest for about 15 minutes. Okay, we're back. The dough's been resting for about 15 minutes. You can see that it's a little bit puffier than it was when we started. So let's start first by making the pizza. I'm just going to shape the pizza by hand, so it's not going to be perfect shape, but it'll be close enough. If you find that the crust is a little bit stickier than you want it at this point, you can get your hands wet and that will help you shape it. I'm also just using a bit of parchment paper on my countertop, and then I'm going to also bake it on the parchment paper. Okay, let's add the sauce. I like to either make my own or use this kind in a jar. It has a lower sodium content than most others. Okay, let's add the cheese. And then just add the toppings of your choice. I'm gonna go with some pepperoni today. And this next topping is going to cause some controversy. That's okay. We do love to have pineapple on our pizza. A lot of people say that's not true Italian pizza. Well, we had pineapple on our pizza in Italy and we didn't order it special. It came on the menu that way. So maybe true Italians don't have pineapple on their pizza. I'm not Italian, I just want to be adopted by them. And we also like some spinach. So I'm gonna let this rest now for about 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to put it in a 500-degree oven, and I'm baking it on a parchment paper on a pizza stove. While the pizza rests, let's do our breadsticks. I'm gonna use the other half of my dough and shape it into kind of a rectangle. I'm gonna use another sheet of parchment and this little mini rolling pin to help me shape this one. I'm just gonna brush it with some melted butter, but first I'm going to mix in a little bit of garlic. I use garlic powder and a little bit of Italian seasoning. You can hear my oven heating up in the background. I hope it's not too loud. Now because my pizza stone will only hold the 1 pizza, I'm gonna bake this in my other oven, just on a cookie sheet, but still on the parchment paper. Okay, let's bake. I almost forgot. I do pre-cut the breadsticks. They're gonna bake together and puff up anyway, but it gives me a line so that I can cut them later. You can also twist these if you want. I've done that before and that's kind of fun. And you know what? I think I'm gonna sprinkle my extra cheese on top here. Okay, let's bake. I do have this old tried and true pizza paddle that I use to transfer the pizza onto the pizza stone. Now I'm going to turn down the oven to about 425. In the description box, I will link how I make my initial sourdough start. I'll also link the recipe for my sourdough bread. And you can use that sourdough bread as bread, French bread. We like to make sourdough bread bowls. And then the soup recipes that I've shared, we just serve those inside the sourdough bread bowls. Amazing, especially on a cold, rainy day. I don't really set a timer. I just go until my crust is the desired brownness that I want. Let's take it out. It looks amazing. The underside is the perfect brownness. And now here's the crunch. I let it cool on this tray so that it'll keep the crispiness of the crust. A little harder to do with one hand than I anticipated, but I did it. Let's grab the breadsticks. They are looking good. I think they're ready to come out. I'm gonna give these another slice. They look amazing. Let's add them with our pizza. Super easy pizza and breadsticks, homemade, so you know the ingredients are the freshest. Not to mention it costs pennies compared to what it costs to eat out. Thanks for watching.